Can you hear me okay, Zach? All right, we're going to call our June 8th, 2026 meeting to order at 6 o'clock. And with that, Randy, if you'll please help with our roll call.
Mrs. Wood? Mrs. Wood? Mrs. Schumacher?
Here.
Mrs. Anderson? Mrs. Anderson? Dr. Franks? Dr. Franks? Mr. Gardner?
Here.
Mr. Sorensen?
Here.
Chair Wright?
Here. Perfect. Thank you for that. We do have a quorum, so we'll proceed with our Pledge of Allegiance. If you'll please stand and join me. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that. For our education corner this month, I'm actually going to ask Miss Downs Lewis to come up. We had a few students and community members reach out over some of the transition day events that happened. And so we want to address that a little bit further. And I think our administrative team is at a literacy convention in Cheyenne, so she's going to help out.
This is right at my height. This is good. Can you guys hear me okay? Oh, okay. I'll wait. Sound great? This is actually okay, right? Like, I'm loud enough? But the people online can't hear me? Okay, sounds like it's on. Good evening, members of the board, Chairman Wright. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be before you tonight to just give a little explanation. Mr. Stratka wanted me to let you know he apologizes he cannot be here, but he is at the CLSD Literacy Grant meeting in Cheyenne, so that should be good for our district moving forward. Anyways, I guess there's been a little bit of confusion on what the high school transition day or what it should be in our community, as we don't really participate in the same transition type of activities that the lower grades participate in. But I think that we had people a little bit disappointed in that. So really quickly on this year, on May 21st, we invited the 8th graders up to an assembly. And that assembly's purpose is to send off the seniors. So they kind of get to experience that and see what it's like and watch the seniors go through the tunnel. And it's a very special time for the seniors. And then on the 27th, the district had an overall transition day, and it's really for grades K through 8. It's not meant for high school students, but the junior high did ask for our support and asked and had arranged for a movie to be shown at the high school, because what happens at the junior high is the 6th graders come up to the junior high, and that really causes like a lot of people in the building and things like that. So they just kind of needed a place to send their 8th graders for the day or for that time being, and the high school offered to help. On the 27th, though, I think it was because many of the kids had experienced transition day in a different fashion for many of the years before. They were expecting to come to the high school and meet teachers and do things that they had been doing for the last several years. However, we haven't, and we just don't do our transition day during that time. Instead, what we do for incoming freshmen is we offer a freshman orientation. In this coming fall, that will be offered on August 17th. So at that time, kids come up to the high school, and we'll send out a schedule and give more information as the date gets closer. But that's where they'll pick up their schedules. They will walk through their schedule. They'll get to see what it feels like to do their schedule before the halls are crowded and before it's the first day of school, and they'll get to do that with a lot less people in the building. So that's really good. They'll get to meet their teachers, meet administrators, meet counselors. They'll take guided tours. They'll have questions, answered. And the questions that they'll be able to ask will be very specific to what their schedule looks like and things like that. So like I said, they'll receive their first semester schedules, walk through classrooms, meet all of us. This time really allows just for a more relevant experience for students rather than visiting in the spring. You know, in the spring we have different teachers and things like that, and it gives them an opportunity to just get to practice what their actual schedule looks like. And this coming year, we're actually hoping, because our freshmen split their time between the freshman academy and the main campus, we're hoping we can get transportation on board. And we're hoping to actually give them the experience of what does it feel like to ride the bus over there? What does it feel like to eat? All of those things. So we're getting better. We're learning as we go with the Freshman Academy. We had a lot of success, but we always can see little things that needed to be tweaked so that kids really do feel comfortable and confident going into their first day. Okay, so in addition to the August 17th date for the freshman orientation, I also want to mention that on August 10th, so we're sticking with some Mondays in the fall. On August 10th, there will be an informational meeting for parents. We know that parents are feeling, maybe a little, their kids have not had to get on the bus during the middle of the day and transition between the schools and things like that. So we're hoping to do an informative meeting on the 10th, August 10th. Give them a kind of a rundown of what freshman orientation will look like, answer questions, talk more about the Freshman Academy and what the kids will experience while they're there and things like that. And then right after that, we will go into our sports and activities meeting. And that meeting is for all kids that want to participate in sports and activities for the 26-27 school year. Okay, so hopefully I didn't miss anything. I brought Miss McMartin up here for moral support so she could help me in case I miss something. But do you guys have any questions or anything like that you'd like to ask?
I don't have any questions. I just want to say thank you for coming and explaining that. I think the biggest thing that we can learn from this is that communication is important, because I can understand how people perceived when we've touted this transition day that it applied to every student. And so obviously that's not the case, and there is a really amazing event coming in the fall for these students, but I appreciate you guys coming and clarifying that. Are there any other questions? Perfect.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
Perfect. Thank you again for the opportunity.
And I guess I forgot to explain the obvious, but as you guys can tell, summer's here. Dr. Libby is online with us, but he is on vacation. Miss Murray's also on vacation. Miss Anderson's coming back from vacation. So we've got a variety of situations going on there, but that's kind of the lack of people right now. But with that, Dr. Libby, if you can hear us, okay, we'll move on to superintendent highlights.
Yes, I can hear you. Am I coming through okay?
Yep, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Fantastic. So we'll start out with attendance. We've got a 4591 this month for the month of June. That's down 9 from May. We had several field days at the elementary schools. We also had a new event over at the junior high, which was a student award for one of the grade levels for the 8th grade, I believe. We had a student award for Student of the Year, which was fantastic for their annual. That was much appreciated to be invited over for that. And I wanted to thank all the board members who were able to make it out to Farson for graduation and to the high school graduation, as well as the continuation events out in Wamsutter. So thank you. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Dr. Libby. With that, then we will move forward to our board reports. I'm going to keep this short and sweet, but one thing that I wanted to talk about is maybe our next book study. There's a book titled The Governance Core 2.0 that I'd like you guys to glance over and see if it's something that you're interested in. And if so, we'll pick it up moving forward and use that as our next book study. I don't have any additional information from any committee meetings, so we'll start with Mr. Garner. Do you have anything for board reports? Okay, Mr. Sorensen.
Yeah, I was able to attend a virtual meeting for recalibration, focus on food service, and how that's going to be addressed later. It's interesting to hear the perspective from all over the state of the challenges that is to feed a bunch of kids. So nothing really, I didn't feel like anything came out of it that was too groundbreaking. Everybody's just kind of sharing their opinions with the advisor. So, and then I wanted to just comment on Farson graduation. I've never been to one before, and I was really impressed. was actually a lot of fun up there. They have some cool traditions they can do that we can't do in with larger graduation. Like I thought it was neat when the kids got to go out and hand flowers to people that mattered to them, and it was just kind of a nice touch in the middle of the ceremony. And then of course our graduation, I always enjoy being on stage with you guys handing out diplomas. So
Thank you, Ms. Schumacher.
I don't have anything to report.
Nice. Make it quick and easy. Okay, then let's move forward. If I can please have a motion to approve the agenda as presented, including addendums. It's been moved by Mr. Gardner. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Sorensen. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Excellent. And we'll also ask for another motion to approve, to suspend the board meeting and, a motion to approve to suspend the board meeting and open the public hearing.
So moved.
It's been moved by Ms. Schumacher. Second by Mr. Sorensen. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We'll move forward. Item number 4 is the public hearing information. I'd just like to reiterate that this information is really talking about a alternative schedule for calendars that's like your start date, your end date, and vacation days in between. The board already had the direction of continuing forward with the 4-day school week. So the 2 options that were presented were just various ways of handling that schedule with the vacation days and so forth. Guys, I'm asking you all to bear with me as we move forward with the public comment portion. Thank you for attending today's board meeting and for your continued engagement with the district. As we move into the public comment portion, we kindly ask that each speaker limit their comments to 1 opportunity. If you've already submitted written comments, we kindly request that you refrain from addressing the board again on the same topic. All written comments will be posted in the written public comment section of the agenda for review by all attendees, including trustees. Speakers may comment on district policies, operations, and programs, or other matters that relate directly to school district and the board's business. We ask that issues that are not of general importance to the broader community or relevant to board governance of the district should be addressed through appropriate administrative channels. Comments regarding the performance or employment of individual district employees are not permitted during public comment. Formal complaints about school personnel may be submitted to the Board of Trustees in accordance with policy KLD and using the form in KLD-E. Staff complaints or grievances should follow the procedures outlined in policy GBM. Comments regarding individual students will not be permitted. The district is legally prohibited from discussing confidential student matters in a public forum. If you are unable to finish your comments within the allotted 3 minutes, we invite you to submit the remainder in writing to the superintendent or board chair. These submissions will be shared with all board members after the meeting and will receive a response in the same manner as public comment. So again, to be clear, this is just public comment on the alternative schedules. We did receive 1 written public comment I would direct your attention to. And with that, are there any in-person public comments? In-person public comments? And a third time, are there any in-person public comments? Okay, then we'll move forward with agenda item 6. If I can please have a motion to close the public hearing meeting and reconvene the board meeting. It's been moved by Mr. Sorensen. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Gardner. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Excellent. We will move forward to our general communications and correspondence. Like I said, I apologize, but I will read this one more time. Thank you for attending today's board meeting and for your continued engagement with the district. As we move into the public comment portion, we kindly ask that each speaker limit their comments to 1 opportunity. If you've already submitted written comments, we kindly request that you refrain from addressing the board again on the same topic. All written comments will be posted in the written public comment section of the agenda for review by all attendees, including trustees. Speakers may comment on district policies, operations, and programs or other matters that relate directly to the school district and the board's business. We ask that issues that are not of general importance to the broader community or relevant to the board's governance of the district should be addressed through appropriate administrative channels. Comments regarding the performance or employment of individual district employees are not permitted during public comment. Formal complaints about school personnel may be submitted to the Board of Trustees in accordance with policy KLD and using the form in KLD-E. Staff complaints or grievances should follow the procedures outlined in policy GBM. Comments regarding individual students will not be permitted. The district is legally prohibited from discussing confidential student matters in a public forum. If you are unable to finish your comments within the allotted 3 minutes, we invite you to submit the remainder in writing to the superintendent or board chair. These submissions will be shared with all board members after the meeting and will receive a response in the same manner as public comments. And on this note, we did receive a handful of written public comments that I would direct your attention to, and I will open it up for in-person public comments.
Hi, good evening, Chairman Wright and members of the board. My name is Cheryl Notman, and I am the president of Sweetwater Education Association. And I'm here to let you know that our association has affirmed the vote for the negotiations contract. So we all said yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening. My name's Marty Albert. I am lucky to be a sub in the district. And I, other than a brief time when a friend was out, I exclusively go to the 3 high schools. And I will admit that my absolute favorite is Rock Springs High School. I'm standing tonight because I keep hearing criticism of high school teachers. And I have to tell you, I spend a lot of time in all 3 high schools, and the staff is so dedicated. Teachers are working so hard. They care about kids. They're doing their best. And I just want you to know, I know there's always people with an axe to grind, but what I see day after day after day is people working hard for our students, and I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Albert. Further public comment? Further public comment? Further public comment? Okay, then we will move on to item 8. If I could please get a motion to go into executive session. It's been moved by Mr. Gardner. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Sorensen. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? So we will go into executive session. I do anticipate action upon our return. Thanks. Okay, can I please have a motion to return to the regular meeting? It's been moved by Mr. Sorensen. Second by Mr. Gardner. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We're back in session. First, I want to take a step back and apologize. The response to public comment was not showing up on our agenda, so I flew right over it. But we do have a few responses to last month's questions. So I do want to honor that real quick. So maybe we'll just start with Ms. Tolman.
All righty. So I am addressing the comments or the questions that we've had about how our spam filter's been working, that perhaps we've been targeting certain keywords. Zach or Christian, could you bring up the cute little document my friend Claude helped me make today? And maybe zoom that sucker in. Okay, so I just wanted to walk through and let everyone know that we don't, through our spam filter, we don't use specific words. We don't use keywords that we block. We have a handful of them that are left over from, I think, 2006, when my predecessor was here and we were getting weird emails about ear cleaner. It's wild, I'm telling you. Some of the stuff in that list is pretty entertaining. And I'm going to make sure we post this on our tech website just so that everybody knows. But as an email comes in, it goes through 2 security checks. So before it even gets to our inbox, it's going to go into Barracuda's going to run it through a sender reputation check. So it's going to check the global block list to see if there's servers anywhere that have emails that maybe they've been spamming. So maybe a farmer in Kansas was phished. They put in their credentials for their email, and then a bad actor got into their account, and they can literally send tens of thousands of emails in a very, very short period of time. And when that happens, the spam filters start to report it, all the global block lists, and they say, hey, this server's, something's up. You don't let them in. So then everybody, as they start to report that, that makes the spam score go up higher. So even me here in Rock Springs, if my email happens to be trying to send from a server where our Kansas farmer had been phished and sent 10,000 emails, then mine's going to be blocked because all of these global block lists are like, hey, Gmail server number 4372 is no good. We don't have any control over the block servers of other organizations. I can say that in the past, when we hosted our email ourselves, we did have some times where we were blacklisted. So what happens is a staff member or somebody checks their email, they put in their credentials maybe on a Friday at the end of the day, and then it goes all weekend just blasting out tens of thousands of emails. And so by the time we come in on Monday, we're blacklisted. And that's actually several days worth of work to go through and get our server unblacklisted. Thankfully, now that we're hosted by Gmail, we don't have to worry about that as much. But so if the email comes in and the server's not on a global block list, then it comes in and the Barracuda server scans the content of the email. It's looking for marketing things. I think unsubscribe is one of our keywords. So it goes through and checks it and gives it a score between 0 and 10. And then it decides if the message is going to be delivered, held, or blocked. Can you scroll down for me? So if it scores between a 1 and a 2, then that's going to be delivered. So that'll just come right into your inbox. If it's a 3, the way that we have our rules set up, it's going to be held. So it's going to be quarantined, but we do give our end users the power to go in and allow that email through. So end users every day get a digest email of everything that's in their spam filter that was tried to send the other day. They can allow the users, they can allow just the one email, they can go in and preview the email before they deliver it to see if it's something that they were expecting. So the other question you get, go ahead and scroll down a little bit further. The other question you get is, well, my email worked yesterday, or I sent this one email and now it's not working today. It's all just luck of the draw on what server that program is using to send it. It could be server 4325, and then tomorrow it's 4326, and 4326 had our, CEO in Missouri who got phished. And then and every time they send 10,000 emails, then maybe 5 people that they sent it to fall for it. So then you're getting, it really just grows so exponentially. We do have cases where if it's a 3 or higher, it's completely blocked and we don't allow our staff to let those emails through. They have to reach out to us to say, hey, I'm supposed to be getting this. So then we always go in and whitelist. So for any of the controls that we put in our spam filter, we don't so much do keywords to block. We actually go above and beyond to allow content. So we go through to say, no, National School Board Association, they've been flagged as spammy for whatever reason. Sometimes it's just the service they use to send their multi-emails. They've been blocked for whatever reason, or they've been flagged as spammy, but we're going to go ahead and allow that sender through. So we do put a lot of rules in to allow things through. Staff can always reach out to us if they have any questions, and we're happy to do that. I will show you, this is kind of fun. We looked it up, and this is our list, and it's just this long of the keywords that we have blocked that we just don't. I mean, that we don't need that level of micromanagement. We only have some random things like exotic is, if an email says exotic, that's going to go into quarantine. And ear cleaner. Why that one's there, I'm not sure. So I hope that answers the questions. Like I said, I'm going to post this little cheat sheet, and then we actually have a more detailed one. I'll put that on the tech website so that if anybody has questions, they can jump in and look. If you think your emails are being blocked or you think there's a problem, please feel free to reach out. We're 352-3460, and we're happy to go in and investigate and see what's happening.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Ms. Gunter, did you want to comment?
Okay, so I'm going to address one of the community members' public comments from last month. And in order to do that, I have to kind of go back to January just to timeline it all. So on January 12th, during the public comment, at the board meeting, a community member had questions regarding the district's vacancy postings, the number of vacancies in the comparison to several other Wyoming districts, and the matters related to our recruitment and retention within the district. Following that meeting, and in an effort to help me support, Mrs. Murray began researching and reaching out to other districts regarding vacancy notices and the reporting of long-term substitute positions in the state. As the answers to the questions were shared, Ms. Murray would then come into the office. We work in the same office, and she would share that information with me. At the time, I believe that the information Ms. Murray was relaying to me had been gathered through phone conversations with the other districts. I did not create any formal notes or did not send out any email correspondence during that time. All of those were verbal discussions with Mrs. Murray. Then on February 9th, that's just a few months ago, but it seems like forever ago, I presented information to the board in response to the January public comments and other questions brought forward. The presentation included information to vacancy notices, the district's hiring practices, and recruitment and retention efforts. During that presentation, I stated that reaching out had occurred with other districts, and I also indicated that I intended to continue to contact those districts, and because I had additional questions and follow-up questions to ask, further information to gather. In February, the district received a public records request from the same community member to follow up about the information related to the vacancy comparisons referenced during my February board meeting presentation. After clarification of the request, the community member requested copies of my existing records, including email, correspondence, notes, and documents that I used to make that presentation in February. In response to that request, the district provided the existing responsive records, including an email that I had sent on March 5th to other districts and any of my handwritten notes in preparation for the February board meeting. During public comment, on May 11th, just last month, at the board meeting, the community member brought up concerns regarding transparency, accuracy, and timelines associated with my February presentation. I would like to ensure you all that the information presented in February was based on the information available to me at the time, including verbal information shared with me regarding outreach efforts to other districts. During the same February presentation, I also publicly stated my intent to continue reaching out to additional districts because I remained interested in gathering more information and clarification. After the May board meeting, I spoke further with Mrs. Murray regarding the public comment and the questions that had been raised. During that conversation, I learned that Mrs. Murray had communicated by email to the Director of Member Services at WSBA in an effort to gain additional insight regarding vacancy reporting and long-term sub-practices. Prior to that conversation, I had genuinely believed that the information relayed to me by Mrs. Murray had been attained, through phone conversations. I want to further clarify that Mrs. Murray's emails were not included in the records produced in response to the community member's public request for two reasons. First, I was not aware of her emails and that they existed until my conversation with her after the May board meeting. And second, the communication that was requested by the community members' request specifically sought my records, my emails, my correspondence, my notes, and the documentation related to the February presentation. The responsive records in my possession were provided. After the February board meeting, I personally contacted by email 5 Wyoming districts that I believe were the most comparable to our district in terms of enrollment and demographics. I received one response from the district. I continue to remain committed to transparency, accuracy, and compliance. I sincerely appreciate the opportunity to provide clarification in regards to last month's public, in regards to last month's public comment. I understand the importance of transparency and open communication, particularly when questions are raised related to district operations and human resource practices.
Thank you, Ms. Gunter. Dr. Libby, are you online with us again, and did you have a response?
I am here. Yes, thank you. I was asked because it wasn't necessarily it was a written public comment, to respond to my graduation speech. It seems as though there are some folks that didn't understand the nature of my speech, so I needed to provide some clarification. The other piece is this allows me to give one more last direction and example to the class of 2026, and it is how to handle criticism. So I want to thank the folks, particularly, I think it was in the newspaper as well. I want to thank folks for sharing their perspective. Graduation is actually a milestone that belongs to our students. And I'm incredibly proud of the 3 graduating speakers that we had for being able to stand up before such a large group of family members, community members, and classmates to share their thoughts and their experiences that they had over their last 4 years and longer in school. Well, not every message was going to resonate to every one of the listeners. Each speaker spoke with authenticity and represented their classmates with dignity and professionalism. In the process, we had 3 exceptional speakers. Actually, I think 2 of them on the speech team and state award winners that not only spoke eloquently, but hit all of the significant topics that you would want to share with the class of 2026. And speaking fourth after 3 excellent speakers is very difficult to look at my speech and read it when it was just covered magnificently by 3 high school students. So I had a choice. I could go ahead and read it and paint right over the top of the work that they had just done and the words that probably mattered most to their classmates, or I could quickly modify and adjust. And in my attempts to use humor and grace to say, you covered everything I was going to speak about. I think one of the most important lessons our graduates can learn after leaving is how to handle criticism. There are always people that are going to disagree with our ideas, our decisions, and our perspectives. The key is to listen respectfully, reflect thoughtfully, and then continue to move forward with confidence and integrity. I would add to this that it's also vital to ask clarifying questions instead of making assumptions. Growth comes from not avoiding criticism, but from allowing how to separate constructive feedback from negativity and remaining focused on what's truly valued, which was the message of the day and those 300 plus students that were there. So to the class of 2006, continue to have the courage to use your voice, share your ideas, and lead with character. The world needs more people who are willing to contribute, even when they know not everyone will agree. Success belongs to those who keep showing up, learning, and moving forward. Thank you very much to the class of 2026. And in this message, hopefully what I am sharing with them is that you may have folks that disagree or don't understand, but there's a difference between constructive feedback, which comes from asking questions for clarification, and just criticism. And the easiest way to handle criticism sometimes is just to say, thank you for sharing your perspective, reflect on it for a moment, choose to digest what you need to take with you, and then continue to move forward. So thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Libby. And I also have one response to public comment that I will take care of here in just a minute, but I just want to thank Stephanie and Tiffany for preparing that information and trying to be as transparent and, front facing with our public that we can be. So thank you for doing that work. At last month's board meeting, a member of the public asked whether the board would publicly reaffirm that students, parents, staff, and community members may raise concerns and ask questions in good faith without fear of retaliation or intimidation. The board appreciates the question and offers the following response. The board has stated in the past and reaffirms now that retaliation and intimidation is not acceptable. The board encourages students, parents, staff, and community members to raise concerns and ask questions in good faith and through appropriate district processes so that concerns can be reviewed, investigated when appropriate, and addressed in a fair and timely manner. The district takes complaints and concerns seriously. When concerns are raised, they are reviewed and, when appropriate, investigated through established district procedures. Where corrective action is warranted, the district takes appropriate steps to address the matter. The board also expects all participants to engage respectfully and in accordance with applicable law and district policy. At the same time, personnel laws, student privacy laws, and the district's obligation to ensure fair processes often limit what information can be shared publicly. As a result, community members may not always be aware of the actions taken in response to a concern. The fact that a matter is not discussed publicly should not be interpreted as a failure to review, investigate, or address the issue. The board remains committed to fostering an environment in which concerns may be raised and addressed appropriately while maintaining a safe, respectful, and productive educational environment for students, staff, and the community. Okay, with that, did I miss any other questions, comments that need responded to? Again, I apologize for skipping over that. It wasn't my intent. I just going with the flow of the agenda here. Okay, so let's move on to item 9, which is our negotiated agreement. I'm first going to ask for a motion to amend the language as it's stated. The current language says approval of the 26-27 negotiated agreement pending the recommendation of the Sweetwater Education Association. I'd like to change that to say approval of the 2026-2027 negotiated agreement as ratified by the Sweetwater Education Association, since they did that previous in our meeting today. So with that, is there a second for that motion?
I will move to, I'll make the motion that you just read.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And a second to that motion then. Second by Mr. Sorensen. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so with item number 9, I now need a motion to approve the 2026-2027 negotiated agreement as ratified by the Sweetwater Education Association.
So moved.
It's been moved by Ms. Schumacher. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Gardner. All those in, any further discussion on this one? Okay, all those in favor? Oh, you do have, go ahead.
Just a matter of discussion. I just want to always put out to our educators how much we appreciate them, what they do with our kids. And I think it's great that the state was willing to send more money your way, and just want to say grateful for the work you guys do.
Yeah, very important. Thanks, Josh. Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Next is item 10A, approval of the classified employees and administrator steps off schedule, salary increases and salary payments. Can I please have a motion to approve the classified employees and administrator steps off schedule, salary increases and salary payments? It's been moved by Mr. Sorensen. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Schumacher. Any further discussion on this item? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. On item 10B, I'm going to ask for another amendment. So I am, on item 10B, I would like to remove the directors and supervisors proposed 26-27 salary schedule from item B. So we will handle that as a item 10C as we move forward. But item 10B would be the same list that's provided, striking that directors and supervisors salary schedule. Is there a motion to do so? Been moved by Mr. Sorensen. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Schumacher. Any discussion on item 10B as amended? I think maybe one thing that I'll throw out there for the sake of information, the legislature has made some changes through recalibration in which employees are considered siloed versus non-siloed. The interesting thing is that we are continuing to move forward with fiscal year 27 with not all of our answers. We have a lot of them and we're moving forward in the right direction, but there's still some things sitting out there. But with those changes, it's been important to the board to take an active look at how these are changing for these individuals and making sure that that is sustainable going forward in the future. So everything that's proposed there, we believe in is in alignment with that. With that in mind, there's been a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so that motion passes. I'll now ask for an additional item 10C, which would be, make sure I get this right. The approval of the director and supervisor proposed 26-27 salary schedule as is today. So today's current schedule, the board is proposing a 1-step and 1% increase to the current schedules, this current salary schedule. Hopefully I've made that clear. So
That's correct.
Thanks. So I'm asking then, just to reiterate, for an approval for the directors and supervisors to maintain their current salary schedule and to move forward fiscal year 27 with a 1-step and 1% increase. Is there a motion? It's been moved by Mr. Gardner. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Sorensen. Discussion on this one?
Yeah, I've got just one thing. First of all, we don't want you guys to be stagnant, but with a lot of unanswered questions as far as what is compensation going to look like outside of the silo for the upcoming years. It's not that we're not looking at increases, but we felt we need to take some more time to really analyze market forces and also see what these payments are going to look like to us to make sure that whatever we do is sustainable for these positions for the foreseeable future and not something that we take lightly today and then can't fund tomorrow.
Yeah, and I might just add to that, just to be very clear, that everybody across the board from teacher to director is moving forward with some sort of step and raise increase. So the effort or goal here is that nobody's held back or nobody moves backwards in their current structures. Any additional comments or discussion? Okay, So there's been a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, consent agenda. All matters listed under consent agenda are matters about which the board has governing policies, implementation of which is delegated to the superintendent. They will be enacted in one motion in the order listed below. There will be no discussion of these items prior to the time the Board of Trustees votes on the motion, unless members of the board request specific items to be held and discussed separately and or removed from this section. And I am actually going to ask that we, I'm going to ask for a motion to remove item D from the consent agenda, and we will revisit it following the vote on the consent agenda approval. Is there a motion for that?
Which item?
Item D.
So moved.
It's been moved by Mr. Sorensen. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Gardner. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? So with that then, can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items as presented and amended? It's been moved by Mr. Gardner. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Sorensen. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so that covers all the items in the consent agenda. And now I'd like to talk about item D, which is the approval to authorize the facility department to proceed with securing all bids and executing contracts necessary to complete all summer projects throughout the district. So again, I'm going to make a motion to amend the recommendation to read as follows. Authorize the facilities department to solicit bids, proposals, and quotations, and to negotiate contracts necessary to complete the specifically identified project list set forth in the recommendation. The facilities director is authorized to execute contracts only when project timelines would not reasonably allow approval at the next regular board meeting and only in compliance with applicable law and district policy. Any contract exceeding $50,000, any professional services agreement, any major change order, or any contract otherwise required by law or policy to be approved by the board shall be presented to the board for approval prior to execution. The facilities director shall provide a monthly report to the board identifying all contracts executed pursuant to this authorization, including the contractor, project, contract amount, funding source, and the status of the work. Nothing in this authorization shall be construed as delegating any authority that Wyoming law requires to be exercised by the Board of Trustees. A mouthful. Is there a motion? It's been moved by Mr. Sorensen. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Schumacher. Discussion on this. I'd just like to clarify that the goal here for everybody's understanding is that the facilities department is going to have work over the course of the summer that needs to be done in an urgent manner. So it doesn't make sense for them to try to wait a month for getting board approval to be able to move forward with a certain amount of work. However, the way that this new motion reads, we're asking Mr. Celeroli, our facilities director, to come to the future board meeting. So if some urgent work were to happen in June, he would come to the July board meeting and present on what the contract was, the amount, what work happened, and basically the justification as to why that work needed to happen without prior board approval between the meeting timelines. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody. Any other discussion on that? Okay, then there's been a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, then that motion passes as well. We'll move on to item 12, which is the approval of the alternative schedules for all in-town schools and Desert School, Wamsutter for the 27-28 and 28-29 school years. We've discussed that in the public hearings before. Can I please have a motion to approve the alternative schedules for all in-town schools and Desert School, Wamsutter for the 2027-2028 2028-2029 school years? Thanks. Yeah. It's been moved by Mr. Sorensen, second by Mr. Gardner. All those in any further discussion on this item? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Excellent, motion passes. Item 13 is board information, school bus routes. So I believe the goal would be to vote on those next month. Those are just for information's sake right now. Then we have item number 14, which is the approval of policy JFCN, student electronic signaling, mobile communication devices. Can I please have a motion to approve policy JFCN, student electronic signaling, mobile communication devices? Been moved by Mr. Sorensen. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Gardner. Discussion on this one. It's my understanding that the legislature has provided certain policies that have to be adopted by July 1. This is one of them. While we already had a policy in place, this makes sure that we're in alignment with the legislature's requirements. So it's kind of just a formality at this point that we make sure that we have that. Any further discussion on this one? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just, maybe it's not time to ask it, but it seems like this year it's been a lot quieter about cell phones being an issue. I've heard a little bit, but not as much. And I don't know if, like Ms. Hopes Downs, you guys can speak to it all. Is it working better? I don't know if that's appropriate here to ask, or is the policy working well?
Yeah, so these policies, like I said, these changes are just legislative changes, but we already did have that cell phone policy, right? And the expectation that they were not being used during classroom times unless instructed by the teacher and so forth. Ms. Downs, list you.
Yeah, so it's one of those things, you have to inspire
I apologize. This is out of normal procedure. I apologize.
So with our cell phone policy, it's one of those things where you have to inspect what you expect. And I'm not one of these because I don't really have a lot of instructional duties this year, but even if I would walk into classrooms, we would make sure. And our APs and our principal have done a really good job of getting into the classrooms a lot this year. And each of the times that they get in there, they talk to kids about putting their cell phones away, and they have that expectation for teachers, and that teachers enforce it. And honestly, our teachers have risen to the occasion, and they're doing a great job of enforcing the policy as well. So that's, I think, why you don't hear about it as much, because our administrators and our teachers are working really hard to make sure that they're following the policy, and they know like it's what's best for kids. And at this point, the kids are used to it, and they are doing a good job of following directions as well.
Thank you for that.
Yep.
Okay, there's been there's been a motion and a second. All those, is there any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes as well. Item 15A, we'd like to acknowledge the receipt of the resignation of our Wamsutter area trustee, Miss Angelica Wood, effective as of June 8th, 2026, today. Entering the resignation into the record of proceedings of this meeting and declaring a vacancy on the Board of Trustees, Sweetwater County School District Number 1 will receive written letters of interest from Wamsutter area residents within the boundaries of Sweetwater County School District Number 1, Wamsutter area. Letters of interest must be received no later than 11:30 a.m. on Thursday, June 25th, 2026 at the office of the superintendent, Sweetwater County School District Number 1, State of Wyoming, Central Administration Building, 3350 Foothill Boulevard, Rock Springs, Wyoming, 82901. Ms. Wood's resignation letter is attached to the agenda. And I'd just like to say that the board obviously received her resignation, thanks her for the service to the district and the community. And I believe our goal is to have that posting out tomorrow, so you can watch for it there. The additional items there, B, C, and D are, B and C are policies for board information. So if you'll please review those before the next meeting. And then item D is our vacancy notice. And with that, we've made it to item 16, which is our second executive session. Can I please have a motion to go into executive session? It's been moved by Ms. Schumacher. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Sorensen. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. I do not anticipate any action upon our return from this one.
We can't adjourn without Chad.
Yeah, I know. Can you hear me okay? All right. Can we please have a motion to return to our regular meeting? It's been moved by Mr. Gardner. Is there a second?
Yeah.
Second by Mr. Sorensen. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Now, if we can please have a motion to adjourn the meeting? There's no chat.
I'll go ahead and.
You'll honor Chad.
Been a motion by Mr. Gardner. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Schumacher. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes and the meeting closes at 8:48 PM.
Thanks, everybody.